Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Attadipa bhikkave viharata attasarana ananya sarana. Dhammadipa dhammasarana ananya sarana. Okay, dear friends in Dhamma, so we started Sutta in the Khanda Samyutta, where Buddha dealing with these aggregates, and there he make a very interesting statement at the beginning of the Sutta. Attadipa bhikkave viharata attasarana, because dwell with yourself as an island. Ananya sarana, with yourself as a refuge, with no other refuge. Then Dhammadipa Dhammasarana Ananya Sarana, with the Dhamma as an island, the Dhamma as a refuge, with no other refuge. So as we discussed last time, so this in a way emphasizing the practice, emphasizing the responsibility to ourselves. So Buddha is not a savior, and we as the followers, we also have a big responsibility. If we really want to attain Nibbana, if we really want to find the freedom. So Buddha has taught the path, he has shown the path. So he put the responsibility to us. Okay, you guys have to be responsible. You all have to take yourself as the refuge. Dhamma as the refuge. And that is the path. And that is the only sort of the island. And don't find any other refuge. So sometimes as we discuss, we tend to look at various teachers, we look at various other mythological stuff, sometimes to satisfy ourselves and to thinking about some sort of a salvation. But here Buddha on the other hand say, you yourself have to be an island. You yourself have to be the refuge. Dhamma has to be the refuge. Dhamma has to be the island. After saying that, so he is making an interesting statement further. So, Attadipang bhikkave viharatang, attasaranang ananya saranang, dhammadipang dhammasaranang ananya saranang, yoniso upaparikkitabba, kinjatika soka parideva dukkhadomanasu payasa, kim pahotikati. So here the reflection has to be done. It's a kind of a introspection. So as you are very much being aware of yourself, it may be starting with the bodily awareness and then it may grow towards the mental awareness. And once you are become aware of yourself, you got to find out how these different kinds of frustrations, sorrows, lamentation, any kind of an unrest, any kind of an agitation, how this is arising, what is the source. So this wise investigation is one of the primary factor in the Buddhist teaching, where again and again Buddha invites us to investigate. So the whole theme of Vipassana practice is such an investigation. And last time we discussed in this Sutta teaching session, so how the soka parideva dukkha domanasa upayasa are being sort of generated. Worrying, lamentation, any sort of despair, how that is being generated. So we discussed that is because of some sort of identification. So we believe this body to be myself. I am the body. Or else we believe this body belongs to me. Else we believe this body is inside me, inside myself. On the other hand, we might believe, so inside the body there is I am. The self is inside the body. And here it doesn't mean only the body that we get identified or we think that we belong. And there are various other physical stuff, physical things, so-called things, objects that we get attached to and we believe that they belong to us. And we sometimes immediately identify with them. So therefore Buddha went on to describe this in 11 facets. Atita, Anagata, Pachuppan, with respect to the time in a temporal aspect. So Buddha say, okay, whatever with respect to the past, to the future, to the present. And then Ajjattangva, Bahiddava. So whatever internal and then what is external. Olarikangva, Sukumangva. Whatever gross, whatever subtle. Hinangva, Panitangva. Whatever we call as sort of soft and sublime, and whatever inferior. Whatever superior and whatever inferior. So all are actually conventional divisions. And Yandure Santikeva. And whatever far away from us and what is closer to us. So this sort of 11 dimensions are kind of conventional way that how we experience the reality. So as we are experiencing through our senses the world, and we tend to divide. We tend to divide and think. We tend to classify things. So typically in the Kacchanagotta Sutta, Buddha very beautifully mentioned Dvenisito ko ayang Kacchana loko ye buhiyen. So this whole world is very much like stuck in a duality. Atitancheva natitancha. So they consider either it is available or either it is not available. It is true or false. It is far or near. It is internal or external. It is gross or subtle. It is sublime or it is inferior or superior. So these divisions, sort of duality, is the way that the mind is used to think. So that is our thinking pattern. So this is how we are thinking. And here, with respect to any aggregate, Buddha gives this 11 kind of dimensions. So in order to expand our understanding. So we may be starting with the body, but it doesn't limit to the body. So our understanding may grow, expand towards a whole universe even. Now when we are talking about the physical aspects. So we know that there are Earth and the moon and sun and galaxies and so many other whatever. Now all that are physical comes under this physical aggregate or the form aggregate. Now the problem is how our all that physicality causing any kind of a suffering. So we believe whatever any of these, either internal or external, we believe it to be me, myself, it belongs to me. So I am inside it. I am in the world. So I am in a house. I am at my college, whatever. So like that, so whenever we have some sort of relationship with this physical sense, so we might tend to have a kind of a relationship with that physical sense. It can cause some sort of a suffering when that change. So we are attached to something, we believe something, and we are identified with something, but unfortunately that is subject to change. Everything is impermanent, that is unavoidable, and when they are changing, then ultimately we suffer. So that is where the problem is. So last time we discussed that. So asutava putujjano ariyanang adassavi ariya dhamme avinito ariya dhammassa akovidu. So there may be a person who have never heard about the Buddha's teaching and again didn't have any kind of an association with the true people, the nobles, and therefore they simply identify like that. So there are typical 4 type of representations given to the Sakkaya Ditthi, the personality view. Rupang Attato Samanupassati. So immediate identification of the form aggregate. Rupavantang va attana. That means the form belong to me. Attaniva rupang. Inside me there is a form. So the self is large. The form is kind of a component of it. And then rupasming va attana. Inside the form there I am. So these kind of different way of thinking represent some sort of ignorance in ourselves, identification in ourselves, Sakkaya Ditthi, the personality view in ourselves. So today we can discuss how to abandon that And that is where the practice comes to the picture. So we got to practice. Now that also Buddha starts as a result of that introspection. Bhikkhus, when one has understood the impermanence of form, its change, fading away and cessation, and when one sees as it really is with respect to wisdom, thus, in the past and also now, all form is impermanent, suffering and subject to change. Now this is not a mere statement, it has to be realized. We first actually hear this from the Buddha, and we may be listening through a Dhamma sermon, or maybe reading in a book, but that understanding is merely superficial. So we need to develop mindfulness, and as we are developing mindfulness, we are able to concentrate the mind, so the mind becomes tranquil now. And once the mind is tranquil, again mindful, we can properly balance the effort, energy, and then we can try to observe this very body. So since we are talking about the form aggregate, so we are starting with observing the body. Say if we are starting with various postures, okay, this body is sitting, it is standing, lying down, walking. It may go through various posture junctions. So likewise, as one is experiencing different types of postures, so rather than we allow the mind to think various other things, what we are trying to do is to be mindful about each posture. Okay, right now this body is sitting. Another time it is standing. Another time walking. Another time lying down. So assume that we are sitting, and once we stand up, then that sitting posture comes to an end. Now the standing posture starts. And assume now we are walking. Now then the standing posture comes to an end. The walking posture starts. And assume again we stand still. Then the walking posture comes to an end. The standing posture again starts. And now we are continuing with standing. Now assume now we sit. Then the standing posture comes to an end. The sitting posture starts. Assume now we lie down. Then the sitting posture comes to an end. Then lying down posture starts. So likewise, even very sort of mundane kind of a posture, we can say it also has beginning, some sort of a sustenance, and then the ending. Say we are practicing Anapanasati. Say we are paying attention to the breath. So breath also has a beginning, and then the experience of it, and then the ending of it. It may be in-breath. So the in-breath has a beginning, and we feel its existence, and then it disappears. The out-breath, it also starts, we start feeling it, we start experiencing it, and then it disappears. Assume that we are practicing rising and falling. So the rising starts, we start experiencing it, and then it disappears. Falling start, we start experiencing it, then we disappear. Actually, we haven't come to the very subtle level of understanding, but still at this little superficial way, we can understand all these different phenomena has their beginning, and then their existence, and then some sort of passing away, fading away. So this we call in Dhamma, at one level, Sankata Lakkana, the characteristics of the condition. Now all these are conditioned world, all these are conditioned entities, and all these conditioned entities, conditioned phenomena show three characteristics. Uppado Panyayati, Vayo Panyayati, Titassa Anyatattam Panyayati. Uppado Panyayati. So we can see they are beginning, they are starting, they are appearing. It was not there, but now they are appearing, now they are beginning, now they are starting. And then we can experience the fading away. It was there, but now they are fading away. They were existing, but now they are going towards the non-existence. They were appeared, but now they are going to disappearance. Titatta anyatattam panyat. Every time it becomes otherwise. From the beginning to the end, things are changing. It doesn't stay as in the same state for 2 moments. Each moment it becomes something different, something otherwise. So this eternal law, this eternal feature, eternal characteristic, that we can understand all the conditioned phenomena are showing this kind of a behavior. So this is in a way the one sort of preliminary insight that we can gain. And later we may be able to get into further understanding about elements. Even before we are touching that, probably one can get this understanding at the very mundane level, still somewhat conventional level. Even these conventional realities are subject to change. Now say one is developing the mindfulness, and then as a result of that, now mind become fairly tranquil and his mind get concentrated and he know how to balance the effort, and as a result of that, now he can even understand the sort of various body parts. So this body is not a one unit, it has so many different parts, and probably we can do a body scan, and we are going from top to bottom, bottom to top, recognizing various body parts. So in Kayanupassana section, so Buddha comes up with so many different types of practices just to penetrate this what we call the compactness, the Gana Sanya. Because when we consider something as a unit, as one thing, easily we get trapped, easily we get attached to, and easily our attention get landed upon it, and we are unable to penetrate, we are unable to see through. So as a result of that, we get trapped. So one way of looking at it is to divide it to pieces, dissect it, and now we can understand, okay, this body, even though I consider as my body or immediate identification as myself, this body consists of so many different parts: head hair, body hair, nails, teeth, sinews, bones, intestines, undigested food, urine, blood, pus. So likewise, so many different parts are there. All together we call it as a body, but what really available are different types of body parts. So this is a very powerful practice. So as we are able to recognize different kinds of body parts, so that alone help us to sort of remove fair amount of ignorance. Because so far we were identifying with the body as one thing, as myself, or it belonged to me, but now that old habitual understanding is little challenged. So time to time the mind itself is questioning, okay, I mean, where can I land as myself? Where can I consider as myself? Is it the hair myself? Is it teeth myself? Is the intestines myself? Is the blood myself? Is the urine myself? Is the pus myself? Undigested food myself? So likewise, our logical reasoning might even question us, so what is myself? So that is one level of understanding. So therefore, in Kayanupassana section, so when you are practicing postures, Iriyapata Pabbha, being aware of different kinds of postures, that is one area that we can develop fair amount of understanding, that these postures are coming to an end. So they also have a beginning, existence, and then an end. And then if we are practicing these kind of body parts, paying attention to the whole body from top to bottom, and they also have another type of insight, okay, this is not a one thing, one unit, it consists of so many different body parts. That's another level of understanding. Suppose we are too much attached to the body, or we are sort of indulging with the bodily sensations, and we are very much like engulf in it, and we might attach to someone else's body. We are so much having certain lustful thoughts about it. If we want to abandon that, so then we can add a little bit of loathsomeness into this practice. So the 32 parts can be considered with respect to the loathsomeness. So each and every body part is considered giving some emphasis to the loathsome nature. So that helps to abandon that lust risen in the mind and take the mind to a kind of a middle neutral level. So that's another level of understanding. But if the mind is not lustful, rather it is with certain amount of equanimity, then it is not essential for us to practice asubha, the loathsomeness of the body or the foulness of the body. But in case if our mind again and again subject to lust, so this is a good practice. This is a good tool for us to practice. But the depth happens with the elements meditation. Now, as we are walking, we can start feeling the movement. Maybe the hardness, maybe the softness, the roughness, smoothness, heaviness, lightness. Now, these are actually characteristics of the earth element. And then the movement, vibration, so these are the characteristics of the air element. Then heat and cold are the characteristics of the temperature, the heat element. And the fluidity and the cohesion are the characteristics of the water element. So in the Buddhist teaching, so this whole physical phenomena are divided into 4 great elements: Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayu. Earth element, water element, heat element, and the air element. So any different kinds of physical object consisting of these 4 types of elements. And where it is being connected, we can include what we call the space element, Akasa Dhatu, also if you want, just to have the complete essence in it. So the earth, water, fire, air, whenever they are coming together, they probably appear like a form. Now say for example, if we have a table, now table is something prepared. It has maybe 4 legs, and we say, and then the top plane, and we have used various nails, and then we have applied certain coating, and then we call it as a table. But intrinsically what is available is this 4 elements and the space element. So whatever different types of object, therefore we can explain using these 4 elements, and if you like 5 elements. Whatever the object, you can think of any physical object. It may be the body, it may be any external object. You can understand it consists of these 5 elements or 4 elements. Everywhere, even the moon, even the sun, even any other galaxy, all whatever this physical, we can say it is consisting of these elements. Now, it is not merely that we are trying to imagine them, but we need to feel them. So that is where the practice comes. So we need a fair amount of mindfulness and concentration to really feel them. So we are landing upon the elements. We are being with the elements. We are experiencing the elements through their characteristics. So the earth element shows its presence using its characteristics: hardness, softness, roughness, smoothness, heaviness, lightness. And then the air element shows its presence through its characteristics. It is changing, it is moving, it's vibrating. So the air element, the water element, through the fluidity, flowing, and the cohesion. Heat element through its heat and cold. So if we are able to recognize these different element characteristics, then we can understand, okay, the earth element is there, earth element is operating there, air element is there, heat element is there. So that's why we feel heat or the cold. Now these are also somewhat relative terms, but at the beginning we are using them, and we are also naming them, labeling them for our understanding. It doesn't mean that every time we have to go through the same thing, but at the beginning we are using various labels, various concepts to recognize them. So their presence, the presence of the earth element, we can know it through its characteristics, and as we are knowing them, probably we can remember this belongs to the earth element. Whenever we are feeling heat and cold, we remember this belongs to the heat element. So likewise, we are using this common terminology, different kinds of labels, names, to understand. And this is another level of insight. So we are now landing upon a kind of understanding where the language doesn't have much role. Now say for example, while walking, when we are feeling the hardness, when we are feeling softness, roughness, smoothness, the weight shifting from left leg to the right leg, actually we are experiencing them. It is not that we are imagining them. It is not that we are hypothetically sort of trying to assume them. Rather, we directly experience them. So this giving prominence to direct experience is one of the very important factor in this vipassana. So we are experiencing. It is not we are imagining. It is not we are thinking. It is not we are assuming. Rather, we are directly experiencing. So once we start experiencing, giving the direct touch, giving the prominence to this direct touch, abandoning conceptualizing, imagining, conceiving, then we can say, okay, mind become somewhat lighter, because all different kinds of thinking, imagining, conceiving are constructed through various concepts. But now we are coming to a level of abandoning concepts. We use them to some extent, only a little amount we have used, but even that now start fading away. Now say for example, when we are experiencing hardness, softness, roughness, smoothness, so probably we remember this belongs to the earth element. That name is a label, that name is language construct. But later we understand, okay, that even label is not necessary. I don't need to label it as earth element. I can simply feel it. I can simply experience it. Same thing with the heat element. Okay, I am experiencing little cold. Okay, can I experience cold without naming it? I don't need a label to experience it. So the experience is quite different from labeling, and labeling is not a must to experience. So likewise, we are coming to a level of mere experience without labeling, without names, without language. Actually, as Bhante Jnanarama points out, now the yogi starts learning the language of the elements. He is not speaking in English or Sinhala or any other language, rather he is now directly communicating with the language of the elements. So whenever heat element is present, so it is showing its characteristics. So the yogi knows, okay, now the heat element is the prominent element. Whenever hardness is present, when it is the prominent element, then the yogi knows, okay, now the earth element is playing the main role. So likewise, so now we are stepping into the Pacchatha Lakkana, what we call as the private characteristics. Each element has its own private characteristics, unique characteristics, and we can recognize them. So therefore, Sayadaw Pandita particularly highlights, okay, this kind of sequential understanding of the insight. So rather than immediately jump into Anicca Dukkha Anatta, so he says, okay, first of all, you need to come through this sort of an understanding. You can't go immediately to the Anicca Dukkha Anatta. First you need to understand how this walking body feels like. So what's its orientation? How you feel the walking posture? How you feel the sitting posture? How you feel the lying down posture? So you recognize its form, its appearance, its demarcations. And that is one level of understanding. And then as you are further focusing your attention, you may be understanding, okay, right now the sitting posture, right now I am paying attention to rising and falling. Now rising happens, not the falling. Okay, now falling happens, not the rising. Assume now you are practicing Anapanasati. Okay, I am in the sitting posture. The sitting posture appears like this. I feel it like this. Now I am paying attention to the in-breath and out-breath. Okay, currently I am experiencing in-breath. Currently I am experiencing out-breath. So likewise, very, very clear understanding about what's really going on. You are not distracted, you are not sleeping, and you are not very much like absorbed to the experience. You are maintaining that very beautiful balance. You are properly mindful, and you are able to recognize currently I am experiencing in-breath, currently experiencing the out-breath. So very proper recognition that is necessary. So that's another level of progress in our practice. How to distinctly recognize the experience. In a way, it is kind of a quantifying. It is some amount of landing our attention, focusing our attention. So without it, we can't progress. So at first, therefore, we need to focus. Focusing our attention. For that, we need mindfulness. For that, we need concentration. And we should maintain that concentration consistently for a fair amount of time. So all these are sort of skills that we need to develop in our practice. So as we are developing the skill, slowly, the yogi become familiar with the process, capable in doing that. His mind is gradually trained in that. Now we can experience the element characteristics. Now we are coming to the private characteristics. Okay, earth element has its own unique characteristics. Water element has its own unique characteristics. Air element has its own unique characteristics. Heat element has its own unique characteristics. We are landing on the unique characteristics of the elements. So this is another step. So when you are able to experience these unique characteristics, private characteristics, then only we are getting to the conditioned characteristics, what we call as the Sankata Lakkhana. Whatever earth element characteristics, it is showing the beginning, middle, and then the end. Whatever water characteristic, it also appear, exists for a while, and then disappear. Whatever air characteristics, it also appear, exists for a while, and then disappear. So you can see now we are coming to the real depth of the condition characteristics. It is not a conventional level now we are dealing with, rather at a very subtle phenomena level now we are dealing with. So these are mere phenomena. It is not me, it is not myself, rather they are merely manifesting. And in that manifestation we can recognize, okay, there is a beginning, there is a short existence, and then the disappearance. Every characteristics has these common characteristics. Now we are stepping into the common characteristic. So these conditioned reality, these conditioned characteristics are common to all the elements. It is not only for earth element, it is even for water element, even for air element, even for heat element. All the elements are showing this characteristic. It appear, exists, and then disappear. Appear means it was not there, but now it is appearing. Now we can feel it. Now we can experience it. It was not there, but now we can experience it. Disappearing means it was there. we were experiencing it, but now it is fading away, now it is disappearing. So likewise, if we are able to clearly know this characteristic, so then the vipassana become quite straightforward, or we can say clear to us. It is not that we are blindly trying to practice, rather we know the path, we know the theory, and as we are practicing, we are very much like aligning our practice with the theory. It is not that we are kind of forcefully trying to align the practice with the theory, but as we are growing in the practice, we can easily recognize, okay, it happens at this area. Okay, I am now experiencing the unique characteristics of the elements. Okay, now I am experiencing the earth element. Now I am experiencing the beginning of the characteristics, or the existence of the characteristics, or fading away of the characteristics. So likewise, we can properly recognize with respect to our theoretical understanding where we are. Now as we are further growing on, then we step into the impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and the non-self. So whatever this existing earth element, say it is hardness, so it is appearing, existing, disappearing, but it won't take long time as our clear comprehension growing, and we may understand, okay, it is very quickly arising, passing away, arising, passing away. And it may be heat element. Okay, the heat appear and then disappear. So our understanding, as it is growing, sharpening, it may understand that existence past almost is not there. It is merely arising, passing away, arising, passing away. And this arising, passing away is common to all the elements. Air element, heat element, water element, earth element, all are showing this arising, passing away. So they are not sort of, say, so-called matter, but now it very much like kind of an energy. Arising, passing away very quickly, and we can't say it's existing, we can't say it is not existing. They are rising, so therefore we can't say not existing. They are passing away, therefore we can't say it is existing. So in one sense, we are now going out of that duality. So as I mentioned at the beginning, our mind very much like framed into the duality. Either it exists or does not exist. Long or short. Yes or no. But here, when we see the arising side, then we can't say it is not existing, which is because we experience the arising side. But not only that, we experience the passing away side. So when we are experiencing the passing away side, then we can't say it is really existing, because it is continuously passing away. Now our mind can't comprehend continuous existence, or it can't framed into the existence or non-existence, because it is continuously arising, passing away, arising, passing away. So our typical old habitual way of thinking is now questioned. So what is existing, what is not existing? We can't say anything because we experience the arising and passing away, continuous change. Now here, Buddha gives a very interesting phenomena. When one has understood the impermanence of form, its change, fading away and cessation, and when one sees as it really is with correct wisdom, in the past and also now, all form is impermanent, suffering and subject to change. Now he is now further expanding this understanding. It is not merely to the present moment. Now he is using the intellect, he is using the inferential knowledge to expand it to even to the past, even to the future. Now as I mentioned at the beginning, so Buddha, when he is showing the form element, he is introducing these 11 dimensions. Atita, Anagata, Pachuppanna, Ajjatta, Bahidda, Olarika, Sukuma, Hina, Panita, Yandura, Santika, Dura Santika. Now, as we are experiencing the present moment phenomena, we gain certain amount of insight, but that insight can be expanded to the past as well, to the future as well, to the external as well. Actually, we have used the internal phenomena, so-called internal phenomena, but we can expand it to the external phenomena as well. Probably we have used the subtle phenomena, but we can expand it to the gross phenomena. We maybe used the very near phenomena, but we can extend it to the far phenomena. So likewise, our understanding can be further expanded to immeasurable level in a way. So all the physical world now we can comprehend through this lens. So whatever so-called physicality comes under this law. It is subject to change, it is arising, it is passing away. So you experience it through the body, very limited experience, but it's a minor sample only this law, in this vast universe. This vast physical universe we have experienced through the body, and all the characteristics with respect to the universe we were able to experience, to understand through the body. Now, as we are growing like this, different types of insights are possible. So one insight, as I mentioned, is that the abandoning of the duality. Internal, external now probably become vague, because the characteristics become pervaded everywhere. So internally also you feel arising, passing away. Externally also you understand things are arising and passing away. Internally also you feel it is merely 4 elements. Externally also you understand it's merely 4 elements. So what's the difference then? Yacheva kopana ajjattika patavi dhatu, yacha bahira patavi dhatu, patavi dhatu revesa. Yacheva kopana ajjattika vayo dhatu, yacha bahira vayo dhatu, vayo dhatu revesa. So likewise Buddha further explained, so whatever we consider as internal earth element, whatever we consider as external earth element are merely earth element. Whatever we consider as internal water element, whatever we consider as external water element are merely water element. So likewise Buddha expands this insight so that our typical, habitual, conventional demarcations are very much like deleted. You can't say internal, you can't say external, everywhere merely elements. You can't say far, you can't say near, everywhere merely elements. You can't say subtle, you can't say gross, all are merely elements. So likewise the demarcations, categorizations are now very much become erased in the mind. So everywhere it is experiencing merely elements. And as we are growing further, it may be experiencing some sort of arising, passing away everywhere. Things becoming disintegrating, disappearing, and we are understanding thoroughly the impermanence, the characteristics of the impermanence, the anicca. And as we are further growing, probably we might understand, okay, there is no escape. Continuously these are subjected to arising and passing away, continuously subjected to this impermanence, transient nature. It's a kind of an oppression going on. So it's a suffering. You can't stop it. Whatever physical phenomena are continuously changing, it's a kind of an oppression. It is dukkha, it is suffering. And I have no control over it. So things are happening through the causes and conditions. Almost I have no control. I can't claim it as me, myself. It is non-self. Now we are coming to the anatta. Anicca, dukkha, anatta. Now we are slowly understanding through experience. We actually have heard about it, but now only we are truly experiencing, truly understanding it. So when we understand that, almost like the language is not necessary. So as you know, mind has to become fairly quiet, inner chatter has disappeared, and our mindfulness and concentration is properly focused, aligned, and different phenomena are showing their true nature. It is not that we make them impermanent, rather they are showing their true nature. So their true nature is impermanence. That is not that we introduced. It is not something Buddha introduced. Actually, there is a sutta where Buddha categorically mentioned, either Buddha arise or not, either he preach it or not. So this is the way it is. Things are impermanent. Things are unsatisfactory. Things are non-self. So these are eternal laws. These are universal characteristics. So therefore we are now very much awakened to these universal characteristics. So when we are awakened to those universal characteristics, what is the outcome? So we become dispassionate about it. Previously we are so attached to it, we are making it as me, myself, I want it, I like it. But now slowly mind become dispassionate about it. Mind starts letting go. It is not that we are forcefully relinquishing, rather mind dropping things naturally. And in this sutta, there's a very interesting statement that Buddha make with respect to, say, Rupasattvayo bhikkhave aniccatam viditva viparinamam viragang nirodhang Pubbe cheva rupang etharecha sabbang rupang aniccang dukkhang viparinama dhammanti. So now he has gone through the insight practice. He properly understand, okay, all these type of form is anicca, impermanent, dukkha, suffering, unsatisfactory, viparinama dhammanti. They are always changing. Evametang yathabhutang sammappanyaya passato ye soka parideva dukkha domanassa te pahiyanti. Now, dukkha domanassa upayasa. So, whatever suffering, whatever domanassa, the despair, any kind of unsatisfaction in the mind, now they are disappearing. Why? So, now we need to remember why they were arising. So, why dukkha has happened, why I was suffering, why I was crying, why I have gone through kind of a worry. That is because I didn't understand this reality. I was expecting kind of a permanence. I was expecting some sort of a behavior which I like. So that was my misunderstanding. I was expecting some sort of a behavior, but truly it is not there. When there is no permanence, I was ignorantly expecting permanence. When there is no happiness, I was expecting ignorantly some amount of happiness. When there is no self, complete uncontrollability, I was ignorantly expecting some sort of a controllability, some sort of a self. That is because of my ignorance. But through the practice, through the vipassana practice, now we are growing the wisdom. So the ignorance is abandoned. Instead, now the wisdom is available. So the wisdom practice helps us to slowly abandon all that ignorant beliefs. Now we are very much matured in a way. So now also things are changing, but I am not crying. Now also things are happening different way, not the way I expected, but I am not much disturbed because I know things are beyond control. There is no any eternal self there, and I have no much authority there. Things are happening due to all causes and conditions, and you accept it as a reality. Now slowly with the understanding, with the wisdom, soka parideva dukkha domana supayasa pahiyanti. Suffering, so sorrow, lamentation, pain, displeasure and despair are abandoned. Tesam pahana na paritassati. And when they are abandoned, one does not become agitated. And aparitassang sukhang viharati. When it is not agitated, you are living comfortably. and you feel comfortable, you feel happy, you feel little contented, and you feel cool. Sukha vihari bhikkhu tadanga nibbutoti uchati. And when you are dwelling like this, Buddha say, okay, you are quenched in that respect. So this is the most important part in this sutta. So now you have arrived that very gentle, very soft, very comfortable, very relaxed living in a way. Previously we were agitated, we were thinking, we were ruminating, we were frustrating, we were worrying, we are crying, we are lamenting. But now things are still changing, conditions are still going through, but you are not crying, you are not unhappy, you are not lamenting, you are not agitating, rather you are resting. You are in a cool mood. You are matured enough to understand the reality. Mind is not bound. Mind is free. Mind is not being bothered by this frustration going on in the outside, in this phenomena, in this conditioned realm. Rather, mind is able to quench in that respect. Now here, Tadanga Nibbutti is a term typically we are using in the Vipassana meditation. So, in order to have this Tadanga Nibbutti, you need to have the wisdom. So, whenever wisdom is available, to that level, to that amount, your mind is calmed, your mind is quenched. There is no inner burning, there is no inner lamentation, any crying, any frustration, because the wisdom has taken care of the whole that. Wisdom giving you the reasoning, wisdom giving you the causes, wisdom show you the path, so there no way to cry. Even the habitual tendencies may be there for you to cry, to worry, but the wisdom is telling you the reason, okay, why it has happened, why you don't need to worry, why you simply have to accept the reality. So the wisdom is showing you the path, giving you the reasons, showing you the logic, why you need not to worry. So as a result of that support coming through the wisdom, now you are quenched. Your mind is relaxed. Mind is fairly released. Mind is not burdened. Mind is not worrying. Mind is in a cool, calm state. Actually, we discuss only the form aggregate, and we need to discuss the other aggregates as well. So almost we have covered the form aggregate. So last week we discussed how the unsatisfactoriness, the worry, the unsatisfaction, all are sort of brought up, all are being felt, how those are generated. And today we discussed briefly how they are to be abandoned. Okay, with that note, I will conclude today's Sutta teaching session. Now I open the session for questions.
Thank you, Bhante. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, Samanti, feel free to unmute.
Vandami Bhante.
Yeah, go ahead.
Avasarai.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for a nice and very clear explanation. Maybe Bhante is thinking whether we can understand. Of course can. I need to share my experience. 10 days before I shared the experience, like the bodily sensations are felt like then they become, but I don't give special names or labels. Now what is felt, Swaminathan, the bodily sensations can be kept with mindfulness. I mean, the mindfulness is there with bodily sensation, the rising and ending. But when the mind is having the flux, The mindfulness is not there. I don't know when it started, but when it's ending, awaken. I'm awakened. Mindfulness comes in there. When the flux is there, the mind is not there, Swamin Hansa. But when I have the bodily sensations, other 5, Chakkusota Gana Jivha Kaya, then I'm there. But when the mind gets it, I'm not there.
So I have a question. Now, how you know the flux is there?
When it is ending only, I know that, Swamin Hansa. When it is there, I don't know.
Okay.
When it's ended, so I come to the body.
Okay. Before that, what was there?
Before, you mean before the flux?
Yes.
You mean?
Yes.
Yeah, before the flux, it was with the bodily sensation.
Okay. So the bodily sensations are there. Now, there is an kind of unknown area, unknown period, and then
unknown.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Fine.
Yes,
fine.
Thank you.
Okay, that's all right. So basically, as Bhante Dhammajiva used to say, now we are stepping into the unknown. That's all right. So that is one part of the practice. So how to slowly know the unknown? In a way, we can tell it like this. We are used to certain kind of a perception. Okay, we were experiencing some kind of information, and we are learned about it from our childhood, and that is in our vocabulary. But whenever there is a new experience, we can't express it. We can't even much feel it, because it is beyond our experience. It was completely new to us. It is out of the norm, and we can't even give labels and names and etc. So it is very much like unknown. So it's quite all right. So it's a part of the practice. So I mean, if we are continuously in the known, if we are continuously on the conventional known stuff, so it is then we are not into the new things. No, now we are into a completely new experience. We have never experienced that before. So the mind is unable to comprehend it. Mind is unable to now the mind is unable to give a label or tell, okay, it is like this, it is like that. So we are trying to give a label where there is labels are very much not really working like. Now say for example like this. Now all labels, all names are working in that dualistic way of thinking. All are very much like relevant. Now when I am saying good, so it is a relevant term, relational term. I am telling good with respect to something bad. I am saying something new with respect to something old. I am saying far with respect to something near. I am saying large with respect to something small. So likewise, all these are relative terms. But comparison, exactly, comparison. So we are measuring, we are comparing. So in order to measure, in order to compare, we need concepts. So when you conceptualize, all these terms, names, labels, comparisons are quite valid. But when you are experiencing the flux, all that demarcations are very much like erased. You can't find the lines, you can't find the demarcations, you can't find the marks, you can't find the signs. So the conceptualizing is impossible, adding labels is impossible. So what happens is mind become confused in a way. It's completely unknown area. So it is not in the vocabulary, it is not in our learned experience. So our mind becomes somewhat confused about it. But anyway, as we are continuously experiencing this same thing, okay, you can give it a name just to communicate. So that's why sometimes Bhante Dhammajiva Bhante used to say it's a kind of a flux. It's a kind of a goje. So let's give it a name. It's as a flux. Everything is kind of mixed. You can't find the marks, lines, signs, everything appear like a mixture. So just continue the path, that's all I have to say. And you may step into this unknown again and again and try to be there without any doubt, without any confusion, or without any fear. Just be there and see.
Amen, Swami Hansa. And when I felt it, I felt kind of happiness, but it was also changing when the mind goes to some other things and it's busy with some work. So that happiness was not there anymore. Swami Hansa.
That's okay.
At that time, light was switched on in a dark room. I felt like that, but it was also changing.
Everything is changing now. Even this experience, it also evolved. It also evolved to something different, and you are experiencing one level of understanding, and it may further evolve. It further matures, and be prepared to the new experience. Will come in the new experience. It is not that you are framing the experience. It's not that you are framing the or expecting a kind of a form of experience. Rather, you are very much open to any experience. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to accept whatever happens. Let it happen. I'm just experiencing. I'm just observing. I'm investigating. I'm quite curious about what's going to happen. So that is the proper attitude we need to maintain. Then we can navigate through this experience.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. May Swami Hansa's intention may be satisfied. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Rav for the next question.
Hello.
Yes.
Thero and Sarai, Swami Hansa.
Yeah.
I recently started joining these sessions, and I recently came across this, your sermons on Parikatha. So I found them very interesting, and I wanted to get some feedback from you on certain experiences that I've had, and how to kind of interpret them, or how I should proceed. So one of I have 4 different points I wanted to talk about. One was that there's a certain energy flow that I feel even when I'm not meditating. I feel that as well, passing through, and then especially during meditation when there's alignment, I feel
right.
That's an easy way for me to understand that, I'm aligning, is because there's a certain flow of energy that kind of comes and grounds. So I haven't paid much attention to it because I feel like that just happens. That was one. The second one was so when you kind of concentrate, then there's that feeling of a separate an observer, like a background observer that's kind of watching, and you have the feeling that even though it's like there's no separate self, you feel like that observer is me, right? I am observing.
Correct.
And so I know that's probably not right, but I don't know, when you have that third person kind of observer looking at this kind of feeling, but I don't know what to do after that. And then the third one was when sometimes the body, you don't feel the body, and then you don't really feel the breath either. Then it kind of goes into it's a nice feeling, but then soon you start looking for what happened, where is it? And so I'm not sure what to do during that point either. But so because then immediately the moment I start looking as to, oh, is it going to come now? Where is it? Then soon that consciousness or that feelings return again. Regarding those were three that I wanted to ask about, like the Paryanka, and then one more regarding the feet. I've started doing that as well, and when I look at the point when it touches the ground, between that and the next, there's such a big gap. So I feel the entire movement, and I don't know if that's the right way to look at it. So
yeah, definitely yes.
I wanted some guidance on that too.
Yeah. So I mean, the last one, the entire movement. I mean, if you are able to maintain your attention during that whole movement, entire movement, that is the best thing. So I mean, it's very much like whatever the movement happen, you are parallelly there. You are parallelly experiencing it, and there are no absent-mindedness, but you are continuously mindful about the whole process. So that is one thing. So you are welcome to do that, and it is a must to do that.
Okay.
And there also
throughout. So that means like wherever it's touching and whatever that I'm feeling in that, including the movements, the lifting, the moving, and the keeping, the touch. So whatever that I feel, just continue to look at whatever that's
exactly
that I'm
exactly.
Okay.
Because now as I mentioned today, we can actually give a practical example here. So when you are experiencing like that, then actually you can later recognize there are different kinds of elements are manifesting here, not just one element. So during the lifting, one element may be prominent. During the movement, maybe another element is prominent. As you are touching the ground, another element is prominent. So likewise, different elements are playing different roles during this whole process. So slowly we are investigating these combinations at one level, one element, at another level, another element. So likewise, this whole process is a continuous manifestation of different types of elements. So that you may slowly understand, and that is one thing. And then you mentioned something about I can't remember.
Okay, one regarding the Paryanka, the one point was that energy flow. Then the observer, like the third person observer, what to do when you get to that, like actually, how to maybe think about that, and then the other one was when you don't feel the body and then you don't feel the breath, what to do then.
I have a very short memory. So this observer thing. Actually, observer thing we can't immediately address because as our distractions become less and less. Now what happens is we are being constantly distracted outside. We are talking to someone and we are listening to music, we are watching a movie. So every time our mind is very much like distracted outside. We are externally bewildered. But now as we are becoming mindful, as we are becoming aware, so we start feeling the sense of I, sense of myself. And our body become more prominent, our mind become prominent, our emotions become, accessible to us, known to us, aware of them. So then our presence is fairly high. So then it can interpret like, okay, I am feeling myself. I am the observer. But later we need to address it, but not immediately, because for the time being, as we are slowly improving our practice, this observer also somewhat become depleted, somewhat become faded, and you are carefully observing the phenomena arising and passing away of different elements, and as you are very much interested in that, to some extent the observer disappears because you are so interested about what's really going on in the vipassana practice. So for example, as you mentioned during the walking, Now you are interested about the whole process, no? So you are carefully scrutinizing the whole thing, and you want to investigate the whole thing very carefully with very sharp mindfulness. And when you are doing that, you forget about yourself, right? So you can't find a self there. Rather, you are quite interested about what really going on in this experience. So you are investigating the experience. So as you are investigating the experience, there is very less chance for you to step back and prepare a self, prepare a separate observer. So let that happen for the time being. Let that happen for the time being. You become more interested about what's really going on, just to inquire about it, just to investigate about it. And then strategically, it's a one way of abandoning the I making, this observer making, that sense of I making, and you are simply observing the phenomena. So that is one way to handle it. Another way is actually later, as you are stepping into the, as we discussed today, that Tadanga Nibbhuti. Say one day, as a result of your practice, so you have a thorough understanding about what's really going on, and then the mind becomes dispassionate about the whole process, and maybe time to time it frees in the sense it will abandon the thing, it will completely relinquish the thing, and mind become experiencing some sort of non-grasping. So actually, this, to understand this observer thing, you need a fair amount of further practice. So that's what I want to tell. So as we are further growing, as we are moving forward, only we can slowly understand how I making happens, how mind making happens. Actually, it is not belong to the Kayanupassana. It is very much into Dhammanupassana.
I see. Okay.
So did I answer all the questions, or some more to there?
Two more. One, the other one was when you stop feeling the body and the breath. What do you do then?
Just be. Don't do anything. I mean, you are experiencing the body, you are experiencing different feelings. And now say, let's take an example. Say you are practicing Anapanasati. So you are experiencing in breath, out breath, and all the subtle phenomena, and it's changing. And there may be a stage, okay, almost like the breath has disappeared. Okay, just be there. Can you bear it without labeling it, without shifting your attention to something else, without falling asleep? Can you just be?
Okay. So be in that state for as long as possible without looking. But that's what happens. The mind starts looking where is it? Like where is everything? Okay.
That is because that is because we conventionally, as we discussed even today, conventionally I have prepared a self. So I am living here. My name is this. Now the time is this. I am in Sri Lanka. I am in Australia. So likewise, we have given names, various say labels, and this is the conventional reality we are very much like absorbed to. But when through the practice, when we lose it, then everything appear like completely unknown, as I just discussed with Samanthi. So everything appear like unknown. So it's a completely new experience. So you can't apply names there, you can't apply labels there, nothing is very much there, no tangibles there. So just be there, just experience it. Still we can experience it. That's the interesting thing.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. And the other question was about the energy, the movement, or the kind of the energy movement.
Actually, while you are in this unknown, what you experience is merely energy. There are also mere energies there, and you don't need to packet them, you need to name them, you need to quantify them. Just a flux is there, so just be there. So very much like your mind is attuned to that energy, and you are just experiencing it, and no I there, no person there, just be there.
Okay.
So by the way, I mean,
that was it. Thank you so much, Bhante.
So just continue the practice, and more and more as you are slowly understand the characteristics, how things are impermanent, how things are unsatisfactory, and how things are non-governable. So slowly the mind become mature to comprehend it, mind become mature to bear it and accept it, and just to dwell in it.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bhante. Thero Saranai.
Yeah, Thero Saranai.
Thank you. I would like to invite Ashini.
Thero Saranai, Swami Hansa.
Oh, Thero Saranai.
Swami Hansa, now we have, I heard this lately, so I wanted to clarify it with you, with Obhansa Swami Hansa, that when we have a certain amount of merits, in order to associate noble friends, and if we associate them for a certain period of time, does that reduce the amount of merits we have to associate the noble friend? Does something like that happen, so that if we associate for a long time, then ultimately we will miss that relationship because of not enough merit. So please explain that to me.
I can't say it is really a valid logic that we are losing our merit. Now, we had the count of merit to be with a friend, be with a noble friend. Now, as we are being with that noble friend, that account is slowly reducing, that deposit is slowly reducing, and ultimately we bankrupt. So we can't. I don't agree with that. I mean, I don't think it is a valid thing, because through the association itself we are generating a lot of merit.
I am very happy, so otherwise, in order to preserve the merits, I thought of
not to associate.
I thought of being disconnected for a certain.
Now, say for example, now we being in the Buddha, and we say we are learning the Buddha's teaching, and we are so fortunate, and we are learning we are practicing, learning, listening to the Dhamma. All are, they are extremely high meritorious deeds. So the Vipassana meditation, Metta meditation, Samatha meditation, listening to Dhamma, all are, a source of generating a lot of merit. So we don't need to say we are losing the merit, rather we are doubling the merit, tripling the merit.
So even in Mahamangala Sutta, Panditanancha Sevana is mentioned, and in Sotapatti Anga also Satpurusha Sansevo is mentioned, and likewise in various situations I have came across that aspect which describes as that it is very important thing. It is the most important thing. I heard that it is the most important thing. It is coming as the first place of attaining Nibbana, because all the Nibbana is depending on Kalyana Mitra's association. I heard like that. So Swami Hansa, but I thought like that because of other people telling me various things. Now I am totally aware of what is wrong and right. Thank you very much, Sainas. And the other thing I wanted to ask from you, I am impatient, Sainas, most of the time. Even in my career prospectus and all the in spiritual life also, when I am doing meditations, I expect the results immediately like that. There are certain weak points in me regarding regard to impatience, patience. So could you please give me some advice in order to gain patience, Swami Hansa, in every aspect of my life. So,
Yeah. No,
to cultivate that to a certain extent.
So actually through the practice you are patient or impatient. It will take certain amount of time and it will slowly allow to grow the patience, because you yourself will understand, being impatient I have sort of failed. So if I was patient, I was able to further success, go towards more success. But since I was impatient, I have sort of confused the whole thing. I have sort of missed the whole thing. So likewise, you are learning through being impatient, and then you are slowly growing in patience. I mean, we are making mistakes. We are making mistakes by being impatient, and later we are learning through those mistakes, and slowly we become patient. So I myself was completely impatient, particularly during my early monkhood, and I was so impatient, and I was thinking, I was expecting, I was striving in a way too hard, and all that mistakes I have done. And I learned that through that I sort of sometimes missed the point and couldn't understand the reality, and I was too much trying hard, I am putting too much energy, I'm expecting too much. All are mistakes actually I was doing. But later, with those mistakes, then I was slowly allowing things to happen, accepting things, and giving some time, and being patient, and all that are slowly happening as you are maturing in the practice. So don't worry about it, just continue, and you, through your mistakes, you will understand.
So by the way, finally I would like to mention yesterday, I was talking with my father and he was telling, oh, now you are better. No, I didn't ask anything. He just said, when I was doing treatments for him, because he's also now coming to Malame to take treatments, my mother is also going. And because I was doing at that time was massaging his legs or something, then he suddenly said, now you are better than before. A significant change in you. Previously you were clinging to anger almost throughout the day. When you started, no end of it. Now you are letting go very easily. That's a good improvement I see in you. He has said that because there's nobody else there. So he said that and was very happy. Then I also couldn't notify that in my life because I was not conscious about myself that much. But he has observed that change in me, Swami.
Yes. I also experience. I also explore. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Swami Hansa. It was because of your valuable advices that I have made even a fraction of improvement if I make. It is because of you, your valuable advices and everything, guidance and support. I will never forget it, Swami Hansa. Thero Swami Hansa, merit for you, Swami Hansa.
Thero Swami.
Thank you, Daslav. Feel free to ask your question.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Bhante, for today's Dhamma session. And it was so capturing the attention. I was really following that. Thank you so much again for that detail and the explanation. Bhante, like when I listened to that, I also kind of felt a little bit happy in the sense, at least we encounter some of these impermanent experience during the sitting and the walking meditation to see the rising and passing, that sense I mean. But Bhante, during the whole session, I kind of gather like the one said that you said like language of element is like, you mentioned language of element. So I thought that is very interesting way to put it that.
Actually, it's mentioned by Bhante Jnanarama. So it's a very beautiful statement made by Bhante Jnanarama. I think in the Samatha Vidarshana Bhavana Marga, I think that is the book he has mentioned that. I can't exactly remember where it is, but it's a statement made by Jnanarama Bhante, particularly telling now the yogi needs to understand the language of elements. So that's a statement. Yogavacharaya dhatunge bhashava handunagata yuti. So that's the elements, the language of the elements. They are not talking in English or Sinhala. So they are showing their availability, their manifestation through their characteristics. So if we know the characteristics, then we know who is talking.
So that's right, but then that also, like what you mentioned, the language becomes not important. This is the language at the end, I suppose, for Yogavachara. So Bhante, that when I think of that, like, you know, in addition to the sitting and walking during the daytime or during the other activities, like I try to be mindful and try to be aware of the thoughts. So Bhante, now I was thinking, considering this, does that mean yogi should also be aware of elements at that time?
No.
Is that something that eventually yogi will reach?
No, thing is, it depends on where you are in your practice. So particularly today, I glanced through different stages of the practice. So starting with the knowing the posture, recognizing the posture differences, all that, and then stepping into different say categorizations. I am experiencing the in-breath now, it is not the out-breath. I am experiencing the right leg now, not the left leg. So I mean, this is how we are slowly narrowing down our focus, and later we step into the element characteristics. Elements are there, now the water element is manifesting, now the heat element is manifesting, now we are stepping into the elements, then we are stepping into the conditioned reality, conditioned phenomena, the conditioned characteristics. Uppado panyayati, vayo panyayati, rita sanyatattam panyayati. The arising is available, arising is experiencing, the passing away is experiencing, the changing is experiencing. Another step, another milestone of our practice. And then we are stepping into the impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and the non-self. And as you are moving forward, assume now you are able to experience the non-grasping state of mind. So that is a result of this whole thing. So non-grasping state of mind is a result, because it depends on the understanding, it depends on the wisdom what we gain through the practice. It is the one helping us to keep the mind free without falling back to grasping. Now as you are being there, try to be there. Don't come back. Just be there. Just be free. Don't get caught again. In case you get caught, so it is your responsibility to quickly be free.
Right. Yes. Okay, Bhante. So that in that sense, just these elements are important at one stage, but then it will eventually give us that mind freedom.
Exactly.
So that's where it is.
Exactly.
At the end. All right. Yes. Thank you, Bhante. Thank you for that explanation. Thank you so much. Much merit.
Okay. Yeah. Thero Sannai.
Thank you. Priya, feel free to unmute.
Theruvan Saranai, Bhante.
Yeah, Theruvan Sannai.
Bhante, if I say, even though we feel Patavi, Apo, Vayu and everything, but can I say ultimately everything is energy, like the whole universe is like ever changing field of energy. Is that correct if I say that?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, because in atomic level or whatever we learn from there also, everything vibrates, every single, you cannot even pinpoint a shortest duration that anything exists.
Exactly.
So that's why I it came to my mind, and I thought to ask you.
Yeah, it is quite correct. It's quite correct. Actually, without any instruments, we are very much like learning how to dwell there. It is also not that it's a kind of that we the body become completely broken into pieces and then we are just being energy. Rather, they are there, but mind is not grasping. Mind is merely experiencing. That's it. Without labeling, without naming, without quantifying, without eye making, without mind making, and just experiencing. So the mere experience is there.
So the consciousness, even that whatever the double slit experiment and everything, it says when it's not exactly the same thing, but there is when there is no observer, there is no matter. So that the same thing happening at one point, there is no observer, then you in the field of energy. But there is still something is there, but it's you can't see the observer. You know what I mean?
Actually, when there is an observer, then only that quantifying happen, then only the objectification happen.
Right.
So we being the observer, we objectify.
Yes.
But when there is no observer, that objectification, solidification may not happen.
Yeah, so that is where the mindfulness come into play, right? So we do all this meditation, and then I go in front of the mirror, and then I forget everything. As you mentioned at the beginning, I had a strong attachment to the body. So I used to beautify. I mean, I still like to see as good looking. So even though if you experience all this, and when I go in front of the mirror, sometimes I feel good, sometimes I feel bad. So it's likes and dislike.
Correct.
Directly controversial what I experience in meditation. But because when I become mindful, I see what this is what going. But there is a strong pull toward the outer form. Go away from reality.
Yeah, that is very true, because we still like to like the appearance, the bodily appearance, the beautification, and the outside appearance. All are still playing a certain amount of role in the mind, and certain way of looking we feel like good, beautiful, and certain another way of looking we consider as ugly, bad. And this is still our wrong understanding in a way, our misunderstanding. Now, I mean, as we discussed today, so whatever the form, whatever the appearance, whatever the structure, all are merely elements. So when we are operating in that, mind doesn't get caught in this all trap. Now, say for example, when I am showing the color red and when I am showing color blue, now if your mind is conditioned to accept red color is beautiful, so then you say, okay, I like red, I want red thing, whatever. But red and blue both are mere elements, manifestations of the elements. So when we are operating in that understanding, either red or blue, you don't care, because you are at another level. But when we are out of that understanding, then again we get caught to the hidden tendency, the latent tendency of the mind. So that's why today, the Tadanga Nibbutī literally means our mind is free with respect to the amount of understanding the mind is having. Whenever the understanding is not there, once we become again ignorant, again we are trapped in the old habit.
So it takes time, Bhante, right?
Exactly.
I mean, keep on practicing until Tadanga Nibbutī happens.
We need to go beyond Tadanga Nibbutī. We need to go beyond Tadanga Nibbutī. So currently Tadanga Nibbutī means we are solely dependent on the wisdom. So wisdom is a fact to keep the mind free. Whenever the wisdom is weak, again mind drops. Suppose one day, so the mind become permanently free. Whatever the pulling, as you mentioned, whatever the pulling is completely abandoned, then you are free from the freedom. You are free from the wisdom. Wisdom is not essential. Mind is already free. That pulling is not there. The Sangyojana is completely cut off. The term Buddha used for the pulling, that force pulling you back to the conventional reality, pulling you back to that old habit. So those are called the Sangyojana, the fetters. Assume that the fetters are cut off forever. Then you are free.
Okay.
That sometimes we call as Samucceda Pahana. Now, today we discuss about the Tadanga Pahana. So we are able to abandon the defilements, abandon the pulling, abandon the Sangyojana temporarily till the wisdom is prevalent. But one day, as we do this practice again and again, these Sangyojanas, these pulling, these fetters become further weaken and ultimately cut off. Then we call it as Samucceda Pahana. They are cut off forever, cut off for good.
Okay. Yeah. Much merit, Bhante. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Theruvan Saranai.
Yeah, Theruvan Saranai.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Laura for the next question.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Bhante, for the great discussion today. I have a question in regards to the elements. So you were saying that I certainly can see certain elements arising in my body at various times. And then you said how you then think how these elements are external in matter and other living beings. And as you were saying it, I realized that even what is external, I'm drinking the water, that's why the water element is in me. Mm-hmm. And I'm eating the food with the earth element. I'm breathing in the air, so I certainly can extend it like that to what I'm taking into my body. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to ask you about the practice, or whether it's a contemplation, that once you feel the heat in your body or the air, how you then would extend it to the rest of the universe. Is that a practice, or is it just a contemplation and thought?
I think the latter. I mean, you practice in the sense if you are trying to focus your attention to something external and trying to understand through that, sometimes it may be possible, sometimes it may not be possible, because they might not be in direct touch. Now, say for example, say you are trying to recognize the earth element of the moon. So how are we going to comprehend that? Because it is far away. So practically impossible. So,
but the wisdom comes from your understanding.
Understanding, exactly.
What you are, what the universe is, so then you have to go there somehow in your mind.
Yeah.
But I'm just at the beginning understanding of that, so I didn't know if there was a practice or whether it's just a thinking and contemplation. Your discussion today certainly helped with that, because I went there as to what I'm taking in, and it's the same as what's out there.
Yeah, that's
so I'm no different to what's out there.
Yeah, so that's why some.
Thank you.
Yeah, terms like the Naya Vipassana, the Anvaya Jnana. So these are certain terms Buddha has used. So we are using the inferential knowledge. So we use real direct touch, real practice through what is available, what is accessible, what is closer to us, what is we are in direct touch. Using that we did the whole practice. Then we can extrapolate it. Then we can expand it to another level, and we can very much like generalize the whole thing. Okay, if it is like this, the outside is also like this. It's a kind of a generalization. It's a kind of a inferential knowledge.
Thank you. And one other question about the elements. So some of the elements, I feel a lot of the elements are near my head, and sometimes it's like almost in my brain, in my head, the skull and the brain.
Everywhere.
I feel coolness, I feel pressure, and then I'm thinking, am I having a stroke, or it lasts for a while. But sometimes I don't know which element it is. Does it matter that I don't? Do I need to identify which element, or I just feel the sensation without having to name it? Is it okay?
Yeah, no need to name. Actually, naming we do just for sort of communication and to tell someone. And at the beginning it may be useful, but later naming is not necessary. You can simply observe. You can simply experience without naming. You don't need to remember, okay, to which element it belongs to, something like that. If you are able to simply know the changing nature, arising and passing away nature, irrespective of the type of element, so all are changing, all are arising and passing away. Now we are stepping into the common characteristics, the universal characteristics. At that level, you don't even need the names, the labels.
I wasn't Buddhist or early Buddhist, and I actually went to a doctor thinking there was something wrong with me. Because I got all these sensations in my head, and I thought something's happening. So sometimes it is a little bit unusual when these things come up and you don't have explanation for it. But now it's like you're accepting it, saying these are just phenomena that arise. And it's not me, it's just happening.
Correct.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thero Saranai. I think, Jennifer, we can wind up the session. Okay, so today also we were spending fair amount of time discussing the Buddha's teaching, and again something relevant to our practice and all the merit we accumulated through the discussion, to listening to Dhamma. So we share with all the past relatives and all celestial beings and whoever in need of merits, and we wish these merits help us also to understand the Buddha's teaching, to practice it to our best of ability, and to attain path fruition, Nibbana. And we'll recite the traditional verses. Ettavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhiya akasattha ca bummata deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu sasanang chirang rakkhantu desanang chirang rakkhantu mamparang idang vo nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idang vo nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idang vo nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo imina punya kammena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yava nibbana pattiya idamme punya kammang asawakkaya vahang hotu sabba dukkha pamunchatu.